Folks, I was going to do a video on how much of a police state that we are living in, but this one popped this morning and I figured maybe this one was a bit more relevant to what's going on. The current administration that is in place at the present time has to be the most corrupt administration in the history of America. I point out to you the Treasury Secretary who ripped off and repossessed a ton of homes in Southern California, to the point that his home was being picketed by a bunch of the people that he had wronged. He apparently, in a scheme, bought a bank, turned around and was supposed to offer refis to homeowners, but instead lied and cheated people, grabbed their homes, and ended up making $1 billion profit for both himself and his cronies. I call that corrupt. I look at the Secretary of Education, who basically helped to destroy the Indiana and Michigan public school systems in favor of charter schools, of which she had major financial involvements with. I call that corrupt. The head of the EPA, while he was the Attorney General for the state of Oklahoma, basically took letters from the oil and gas industry, put them on his own letterhead, and sent them off to the EPA and filed 17 lawsuits against them. I call that corrupt. The Attorney General, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, basically lied to the Judiciary Committee about his record, trying to shield the fact that he's a racist. And now that he's in place, he's trying to take America back to the 1950s. That might not be corrupt as far as dollars are concerned, but in my opinion, that makes him morally bankrupt. All that being said, today, Jason Chaffetz and Elijah Cummings issued a statement regarding General Michael Flynn and the fact that he broke the law. He did not complete a federal questionnaire in order to get his security clearance renewed, and also a questionnaire that he had to complete for the White House in order supposedly to complete his vetting. Now let me ask you guys a question. For those of you who drive, if you went out and drove a car and got pulled over and was asked for your driver's license and you didn't have one, obviously there would be a cost to pay. Now, let's say 30 days later you walk into court and you have gone out and gotten your driver's license. Well, today you would be legal, but when you were driving that car a month earlier, you broke the law. Well, that's exactly what Mr. Flynn did, and it wasn't even that good. Mr. Flynn couldn't get a job as a dog catcher after he left the government. So what he decided to do was to shop his services elsewhere, i.e. overseas, with Turkey and Russia. But he basically ignored, and I do mean ignored because he knew the rules, he ignored the fact that he had to get permission from the State Department and the Department of the Army in order to accept any money from any foreign government for at least 5 years. And he didn't do that. And all the while that he was on the campaign trail with Donald Trump, he was in violation of the law because he was also still acting in behalf of the Turkish government and was receiving payments from them. Now, the House Intelligence Committee basically saw that, and they went in order to obtain evidence to the White House, and Mr. Trump is trying to cover his buddy's tracks. Now, let me read you the information that I just pulled up online. President Donald Trump's former national security advisor did not properly disclose payments from Russia and does not appear to have complied with the law, House Oversight Chairman Jason Chaffetz and Ranking Democrat Elijah Cummings said Tuesday after reviewing Michael Flynn's application for a security clearance. Chaffetz and Cummings announced their findings to reporters on the Hill following a classified gathering of the committee in which they reviewed documents that Cummings described as extremely troubling. I see no data to support the notion that General Flynn complied with the law, Chaffetz said, referring to whether Flynn received permission from the Pentagon or the State Department, or that he disclosed the more than $45,000 he was paid for a speech he gave to RT-TV in Russia. The request comes after the White House declined to provide documents related to Flynn that the panel investigating him had requested, according to a letter obtained by CNN. White House Director of Legislative Affairs Mark Short outlined in a letter to the House Oversight Committee how it would not complete the request from the panel, referring some requests to the Department of Defense, saying the office doesn't have custody of some of the other documents, or simply stating we are unable to accommodate others. Whether Flynn properly disclosed payments from foreign governments on his security clearance application is the subject of a House Oversight Committee meeting Tuesday, as members reviewed the first batch of documents related to the investigation coming from the Pentagon. The committee is gathering Tuesday morning at the Capitol to review classified material provided by the Department of Defense in response to its March 22nd request for more information on Flynn, according to MJ Henshaw, a spokeswoman for House Oversight Chairman Jason Chaffetz. The committee has sent additional requests for information about Flynn to the White House, the FBI, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. However, Tuesday's meeting will only include responses from the Pentagon. Oversight investigators also revealed last month that Flynn had received $530,000 for work his lobbying firm did that, according to the committee, likely benefited the Republic of Turkey. The House and Senate Intelligence Committees have been leading the primary investigations into Russian interference in the House elections and possibly coordination with top aides to the Trump campaign. However, the House Oversight Panel has taken a particular focus on Flynn's work, drilling down in a series of requests. Flynn was forced to resign from his role as Trump's national security advisor. He was fired after it was discovered he withheld information about the discussions he had with Russian ambassador to the U.S., Sergei Kislyak. Flynn is one of 4 former Trump aides at the center of the FBI's probe and is a top target for House and Senate investigators as well. Since he retired, Flynn has retained a lawyer and has offered to testify in exchange for immunity from prosecution, an offer nobody has apparently taken him up on. This guy is going to burn, and the only thing that I can hope for is that he drops a dime on the other 3 guys that are involved. And those particular people, the highest one being Attorney General Jeff Sessions. But we know for a fact that Jeff Sessions is probably being looked at the least, while you have Mr. Stone, who apparently had information from WikiLeaks and revealed the fact that he had knowledge before WikiLeaks even did their data dump on Clinton and her people. You had Paul Manafort, who was absolutely in the employ of the Russians while he was running Trump's campaign. And then you have, I believe there are two other individuals that they know were involved with the Russians. So talk about corrupt. Michael Flynn hopefully will be the linchpin for getting at all of the people that are involved with Donald Trump in his campaign and in his White House, so that the American people can see exactly what went on. Now, what can we do about it? I don't know that there's all that much, because I don't know or believe that anybody's going to absolutely drop a full-blown dime on Donald Trump. But even if that were in fact the case and he got impeached, we'd still be left more than likely with Mike Flynn unless they sucked him into this as well.